everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how to play A Thousand Years Part 2 by Christina Perri and Kazee. First of all, I'm going to be playing it at a normal speed, some parts of it at a normal speed, and then I'm going to zoom in the camera and show you how to play it. I've also added the notes on the keyboard to make it easier for you to understand. Please keep in mind that I'm a YouTube learner, and if I make mistakes, please do forgive me. And if you have any advice, then feel free to leave it in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Also, if you'd like to hear me playing the whole song, I put a link in the description box. So here's how it goes. So I'm gonna play it at the intro at a normal speed, and then I'm gonna teach you how to do it. So now I'm gonna be teaching you how to play it. Now before we start, you must always remember that in the beginning we're always going back to A and F, A sharp and F, sorry. So it's basically this is what you do. You press F and A sharp together, and then you go F, A sharp, F, A sharp, F, D sharp, A sharp, F, D, A sharp, F. Okay, so you press these together, F and A sharp. Then you repeat them again. A sharp, F, D sharp, A sharp, F, D, A sharp, F. So basically repeat that twice, so it sounds like this. Sharp, A sharp, F, D, A sharp, F, A sharp and F sharp, F, A sharp, A, F, A sharp, F, D sharp, A sharp, F, D sharp, D, A sharp, F, and then you move up, so you press this, which is G, A sharp, D, G, A sharp, D sharp, okay? So you press that, and then sharp, G, A sharp, G, G, A sharp, G, A sharp, G, A sharp, G, A sharp, then you break it with D, F, D, A sharp, F, then you go F, A sharp, F again, then you go C, C, A sharp, C, A sharp, F, then you go A sharp, A, F, A sharp, A sharp, A, F. Okay? So this is basically covering the introduction, and this is for the right hand. Alright. So now I'm gonna be showing you how to play the left hand. The left hand is the same for the intro, for the chorus, and for the third verse. So pay attention to it. So you can either do it in octaves, you can either do it without octaves, it's the same. I just do it in octaves to make it sound better. So this is how it sounds with octaves. You start with A sharp, octaves, then you go to A, and then you go to G, octaves, and then you go to F, octave, and then you go to D sharp, octave, and then you go back to F, and then you go back to A sharp, octave. Alright, so if you don't want to do it with the octaves, it's okay. You can either you just do it without the octaves, so it's like this. So you either start from the lower note or the higher note. I don't think it really makes a difference, but yeah, so you go to A sharp, A, to A sharp again. So overall it would sound like this. Okay, so this is how we combine them together, and it's like this. For the intro, on the right hand we press F and A sharp together. Once we press that, we press the A sharp. So remember, the key is that every time you press A sharp, you play A sharp octave on the left hand. So it sounds like this. Without an octave, it sounds like this, or like this. Okay, so and then you keep holding on to the A sharp octave. You don't let go, and then you play. Once you reach D, you go to A octave. So remember, D is the key here. So when we start, it's A sharp. Then to D, and then once you start again, which is A sharp again, you go to a G octave chord, which is D again. You change to F now, F octave. And now, when we're going up to G, it's G, A sharp, and D sharp, remember? And then you press D sharp. So remember, once you press the D sharp, you gotta have to play the D sharp octave. D sharp octave. So right now, I'm just playing D sharp octave. Keep holding on to it. Again, our key point is the D. So once you press D, you press F octave. And then once you press A sharp again, that's it. You don't press any other octave, so it's like that. So we stop that F and then we go. So that doesn't need a left hand. This is only for the introduction. So remember the key points. Every time you press A sharp, you gotta start with the beginning of it. So you start with A sharp, and then onto D you go to A octave, and then you go to G octave, and then you press F and A sharp together. Remember the D point? You go to F octave right now. And then when you go to D sharp here, when you're going to press it, you have to press D sharp on the other left hand. Hold on to it. And then you go down to D. This is how you play the first verse in the right hand. So you go like A sharp, A sharp, A sharp. Colors and promises. D, C, A sharp, A sharp, F, D sharp, D, A sharp, G, F, D sharp, D, C, D, C, A sharp. You repeat again. Beat, fast, and then you go D, C, A sharp, A sharp, F, D sharp, D, A sharp, D, G, sorry, F, D sharp, D, C, D, C, A, G. Okay? So this is basically how you play it. And then you repeat it 3 times because it's the second part. First part, you don't repeat it 3 times. In 1000 Years Part 1, you repeat it only 2. But because Part 2 is different, so you repeat it 3 times. So repeat again. So, okay, let me show you again. Okay, A sharp, A sharp, A sharp, B, C, A sharp, A sharp, F, D sharp, D, A sharp, G, F, D sharp, D, C, D, C, A sharp, F, D, C, A sharp, A sharp, F, D sharp, D, C, D, F, D sharp, D, C, D, C, A sharp, A sharp, D, C, A sharp, A sharp. All of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. This is the last part. F, D sharp, D, A, G, F, D sharp, D, C, D, C, A sharp, G. Okay, this is what basically you do. And then you move on to one step closer. That goes to this goes an octave. You can do it without an octave, and it sounds like this: G, A sharp, F and A. But it sounds better with octaves, I think. So it's basically G octave, G, A sharp, and then F and A. Alright, so now I'm gonna be showing you how to play the left hand for the first and for the second verse. It basically goes like this: D sharp, sorry, D sharp, G, D sharp, G, A sharp, D sharp, A, G, A sharp, D sharp, A, G sharp, G, D, G, D sharp, G, A sharp, D, A sharp, G, D, D, A sharp, D, A sharp, D. Okay? So when you play it one time like this. When you repeat it again, you do this. You don't go back to G. So in the beginning you go back to G, and now you don't go back to G. So it's D sharp, G, A sharp, D sharp, A sharp, G, D sharp, and then it goes like D sharp, G, A sharp, D sharp, A. You don't go back to G. And this is for the first one. Second is D, D, F, A sharp, D, A sharp, F, D, F, A sharp, D, A sharp, F. And it's exactly the same thing when you first time, because each one of them you have to repeat twice. So first time is D, sorry, D, F, A sharp, D, A sharp, F, D, F, A sharp, D, A sharp. You can press A sharp, but it's D, so it's D only without the A sharp. And then you move on to G, which is one time only. G, A sharp, sorry, G, A sharp, D, G, D, A, G. But you don't go back, so it's basically just G, A sharp, D, G. You don't go back. G, A sharp, D, G, only that. So remember, D, A sharp, D, G. Okay, you don't go back, and then you go to A, C, F, A, C, F, sorry. So it basically sounds like this. The left hand for the first and second part sounds like this. I'm gonna play it with one finger so you can see. D sharp, G, A sharp, D sharp, A, G, D sharp, G, A sharp, D, A sharp. You don't repeat, then you go to D, D, F, A sharp, D, A sharp, F, D, F, A sharp, D, A sharp, D only, sorry, without going back to A sharp, and then G, G, A, D, A sharp, D, G, D, A, D, A sharp, D, G. You don't go back here, sorry. G, A sharp, D, G only. You don't go back, and then afterwards, you go to A, C, F. Okay, and then now we move. So how do you play it together? It would be like this. All right. So remember we started on A sharp, right? So once you start this, once you press A sharp, you press D sharp, and you continue playing. No, look carefully. So basically all I'm doing is only pressing A sharp and doing the D chord I just showed you. So you press, every time you press A, you should be on D sharp. So D, let me say it, D sharp, D. Then once you go to D, D, C, you don't play any left hand, you keep holding on. D, C, and again with A sharp you go to D now. Okay? So it sounds like this. Then you don't play any left hand. Frozen eye. When it goes right from the start, it goes like F, D, F, D sharp, D, A sharp, D, right? So once you press F, again, your key to play the left hand is always the A sharp in the first and the second verse. So again, when we start at D sharp, we start A sharp. When we repeat again, we go on the D alone, and then now we go on how to be. Once you press A sharp, you press the G chord I just showed you. So you're basically both of your thumbs gonna meet on G, so you don't have to press G anyway, because your right hand should be pressing it already. So it's. Then you take out your right hand and you press the G now. So if you look at it, okay, and then you go again. Now on C. See? When you press C, now this is the only change that's gonna happen. When you press C, you press A, C, F. Then you go to D, C, A sharp. This is slow motion, you can always repeat. So as I recommend all the time, play the right hand first, perfect it, then go back to the left hand, and then perfect the left hand, and then all of a sudden everything will make so much sense to you. Because once you know how to play both right hand and left hand well, you'll be able to actually practice both hands together and it would sound really sounds good, and it will be easier for you to play it. So you reach here. It's a very good process. Now when we go to one step closer, it changes to this chord: C, D, C, D sharp, G, C, G, G, D sharp, C, D, G, C, G, D sharp. So you press that twice, I think. Wait, C, D sharp, G, C, G, D sharp, C. So once you press that, first, this is what's gonna happen. Okay, and then you go away some. So once you press the G now, so it's all away down, suddenly goes away some G. Okay, so it goes G. When you press G, you press C, D sharp. What I'm playing right now is C, D sharp, G, C, G, D sharp, C, C, D sharp, D, C, G, D. Okay, so you play that twice. So this is how it's gonna sound like. And then you continue to the third time, you press the G octave. And then after you finish, so it's one step closer. Once you press the A sharp, you change again. Sorry. Once you press the A sharp, you change again to G, A sharp, D, G. And now you go back. So here's the trick. Alright. So now we deal down when it starts going like one step. First it goes like one step closer, one time. So basically you're pressing this 3 times. Once you go to closer, which is A sharp octave, you press G, A sharp, D, G, D, A sharp, D, A sharp, D, G, D, A sharp. So it's okay. Closer is A, F, and A, and you press. Okay, so now you press another chord. Once you go closer, which is F and A, you change to an entire different chord. Chord which is F, A,